So, Wayne, shout out to Wayne. He sent this interesting post. I think he sent it to the group about it being an interesting topic of discussion. And we're talking about kids who grew up academically gifted. So, no DJ though. Kids who grew up academically gifted are now anxious adults who have thousands of abandoned hobbies and spiral into self-hate whenever they make basic mistakes or they're doctors. You're going somewhere with this one. You're going in a place that where kids who were forced to be academics, make good grades, care about those stuff, they're afraid to make mistakes. I'm one of those kids. I'm afraid to make mistakes. I am risk adverse, for better or for worse, but I'm risk adverse. I still live a pretty good life, but I don't take a lot of risk, especially when it comes to affecting the money that I make. Why? Because I like the money that I make, and I could make decisions that could make me more money, but I could also make decisions that will make me less money. So yeah, here we are. I'm not a doctor. I don't really like the abandoned hobbies thing because I mean I'm on a podcast right now that pays me absolutely nothing. I don't think this is an abandoned hobby. I've been doing it for 5 years, so I'm pretty sure that speaks to, hey, I got out of the bubble of being afraid to do something, abandoning different hobbies and finding the one that actually works for me. Because this whole idea of having abandoned hobbies is you grow out of a lot of the things you once did. When I was a child, I did childish things, but when I became grown, I put down my childish things. I did man stuff. So I think that's a thing too. I mean, I also hoop. I play intramural sports, so I've maintained a lot of my hobbies. But I do think there are things that I thought about doing, dabbling in. I mean, hell, I thought about media and broadcasting. I mean, it's kind of one of five things that I've wanted to do with my life. Um, but I think that because of the academic nature to my upbringing, I was afraid to go out and take a step. And even still now, I've been afraid to just go out and say, hey, I'm going to broadcast 100% all the time. No, I'm not. It ain't making the right dollars. So it don't make sense to me. And maybe that's the security of that academia has given me because you're tough, you make good grades, you set yourself up to go and make good money. So once you start making good money because of the good grades that you've made, ta-da, you find yourself here. But I do believe that there are those who were just as brilliant, just as gifted, but they may not make the same grades. They've taken more risk. They're not afraid to be broke. They're not afraid to be homeless. They're not afraid to go stay on someone's house because they weren't afraid to get made fun of for making a C on a test or failing a test or having to retake a class. They weren't afraid of those things. Sometimes the fear that drives you to greatness can drive you to failure. And at some point, you got to find that happy balance. And man, this topic was so triggering because as I'm getting to an age where I'm wanting to expand my family. How do I raise my child? Well, academia is going to be important. I mean, because it opens so many doors, but will it be the only thing? Hell no. Luckily for me, academia wasn't the only thing that was offered to me. It wasn't the only thing that my only interest. It's not the only field that I was thrust into. And I think that's super important. But I will say that it was the only field that success and that field was demanded. Mom didn't care that I was at sports. She let me play. She cared about how good my grades were. I could have a terrible game. I could have a terrible season. Nothing in the house changed. But if I had a bad report card, so in parenting, I hope to be able to find that balance between, emphasizing the importance of whatever it is that you're doing, you putting forth your best effort and then finding a level of success in that sustains you. I think. But what do I know? I'm just a big Baby.
How lucky, baby?